Good evening and welcome to the Late Night Business. My name is Ian Dennis, and tonight, as always, we have a very interesting show lined up. Today, we're about to have a conversation that's worth your while because you're going to be exploring the startup world, entrepreneurship, and every element each and around it, and I have a guest suitable for it. But before I get to introduce my guest, I want to remind you that you're here at the Capital Club, the place you need to be as an entrepreneur, because at the Capital Club, you have access to a wide variety of amenities. And once a part of the Capital Club, you can, whatever country or whatever city that you travel to, you also have access to the club across the different cities in the world, be it in Dubai, London, wherever it is. Once you're a part of the club, you can access all these amenities and clubs around the world. I also want to remind you that two of my books, Business Conquest and Food for Thought, are actually out at textbook centers. You can actually be able to access them. The guest I'm actually speaking about is James Owino, who holds very, very many roles. One, he's the CEO of eBasket. He's a business director for Anza Village. He's also a chapter director at Startup Grind. He's an entrepreneur in so many different things. James, thanks so much for coming to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure having you. I told you I like your coat. It looks so nice.
Thank you. But it's one of those coats that you overwear.
Oh, you told me you don't like attention.
Exactly, but it's fine. It's fine.
But thank you so much for having come.
Yeah, so because sometimes people know me by the coat, so it's fine.
So at least now they know you well.
Yeah.
The first question I like starting all my conversations with: what exactly are you most grateful for today?
What am I grateful for today? I think just being here and being able to do the things that I like, the things that I love. Yeah, so I'm grateful for that.
And something very interesting that you just mentioned to me while you're just off air.
Yeah.
You're a psychologist turned a coder turned an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So let's just start with your journey. How did you end up becoming a psychologist?
How do I end up becoming a psychologist?
Is it something you wanted to be, or
not really? I think I'm good with people. I'm very good with people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and mostly I'm one of those people. People consult a lot when it comes to life matters, and that started off when I was very young. Yeah. As I grew up, I didn't know anything about psychology. There, I didn't know there's something called psychology. But when I got to campus, I said, well, there's no harm of doing this. Yeah, because of course, back then, through job, you're called to do weird courses. Yeah, but I had the opportunity to change my course to psychology. So it was more of just doing it. Yeah, just to have a degree.
Yeah. And what's first of all psychology? Because you always talk about psychology. What do, as a psychologist, what exactly it is that you do?
I don't practice.
Because weirdly, first of all, just I'm asking this because last week I was in a conversation, I was moderating a session around mental health, and within it there was a psychologist, and I got to understand so many interesting things about a psychologist. So maybe just for the benefit of the audience, what does a psychologist study to do, or what does a psychologist do?
So there are two psychology courses in campus, clinical psychology and counseling psychology.
Yours was? What did
counseling,
you study?
I actually started off with clinical, then did counseling. Yeah. So with counseling, it's more of one understanding how the human mind works. Yeah. And then after that, then you know how to apply that in different scenarios. If you have a problem, you know how to probably apply that and not really give a solution, but create a path towards a solution to your patient. Yeah. So for me, worked well. Of course, when you're doing your degree, you have to go for your attachments and all that. But I decided not to pursue it.
Why?
Because the business bug, I think, caught me earlier on. So in campus, I used to do a lot of stuff because I had so much time in campus. Yeah. So,
you told me that the University of Nairobi.
Yes.
So you're not striking with the people who cover
Of course. Time of strike with people, but of course, given that I had so much time, I had the opportunity to start doing business from there, basically. Yeah, on my own. Yeah, before I used to run my dad's company. My dad had this weird thing of when you're done with class 8, he leaves, and then we shall go. Then he leaves you with the company.
All right.
Yeah. So
what was that dealing in? That's very interesting.
So we used to supply stuff to the airport, and as airport, the airport as well. So engineering stuff. So
that was an engineer.
Not really. He was just a business person. So he had this weird culture of doing that to everyone. So at home we were 11.
11 kids?
Yes.
Same mother, same father?
No, two mothers.
Oh, two mothers.
Two mothers, same father. So
The only constant is that.
So for
The
all of
variable is
us,
the wives.
so for all of us,
Yeah.
when you're done with class 8,
Uh-huh.
he'd pack up and go to Ushago.
Uh-huh.
But before that, he'll take you to to his suppliers, where he gets his stuff. He'll take you to the client in his airport and tell them that now this is my son. He'll be managing my business.
What?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So back in class 8, imagine being taken to industrial area, being taken to I don't know, some of these places, and then you have to, when the airport guys call, you have to figure out what they want, and go get those stuff, write invoices, and deliver
at class 8.
at class 8. And when you're writing the invoices, you also need to figure out the pricing. So you need to know all that. So by the time you're going to deliver, you need to have known that, okay, so I've bought, if it's balls, I've bought these balls for this amount of money. I have to put a markup and have it on the invoice and take it
at class 8.
At class 8, imagine.
So class 8, kila initiation, your initiation is different.
Yes, ours was different. And then at the end of the month, you also need to file returns, like all that. When you're given checks, you need to take them to the bank. Even the bank managers for my dad's bank knew us. So when you take the check, like they actually expect you, and like.
So this year it will be James. Next year is John.
So at that point, it was interesting to me. It was very, very interesting. I think I grew interest from there because I could see my dad making money. And of course, given that we're 11, he was able to cater to all of us. Like, it wasn't that we weren't that well off, but we never lacked.
You never lacked.
We never lacked. So that's when I got my feet into business. And of course, then now going into campus. Of course, teaching myself how to code, doing a few websites here and there. I think that's standard for everyone. And then at some point, I had a campus magazine called Campus Vibe that we worked on in my room in campus. The room was called Room 14. It was kind of like a headquarters for everyone. So we got just my fellow students, editors, and everyone. Like,
so you used to make
and designers came up with a really, really nice magazine, and we put it out there, and we distributed it to all campuses in Kenya, up to a point whereby I think, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but Nation approached us to buy the magazine.
So you sold it?
No. It's a long story.
It's a short fast. It's very, very interesting. So like you started building a magazine in campus. Became so, big to the extent that they wanted to buy it.
So
how much did they offer?
So they wanted, at first, when they reached out, they wanted to take the name and use it for their publications. And then we refused. Of course, I was in second year. And that's when I started like getting money, because of course advertisements and all that. So in my head I was like, like I can see the future of this thing. So we declined their offers, and then someone somewhere. So at that point we were very green in business and very young. We didn't know that there's some bills that we need to like cover. So we didn't even know about intellectual properties. We didn't even know about copywriting and all that, trademarking. So we just had a product that people loved. So someone went, made the exact replica of the magazine, the same name, backdated it, took it to the copyrights board, and said that we've copied the product.
Wow! And that was the end of it.
So we were summoned. It was in the second year of being summoned with those letters from the lawyers. So
and that was the end of it.
We tried to rebrand, but it actually the whole thing took a toll on the team. We tried to rebrand. We did another issue, like one issue, but I died a very slow and painful death.
So that was the first major business that you yourself personally did.
Like something that I really got money from, but failed. But to me, I usually say that it's a good thing that it failed, because the lesson learned there was so much. Because I used to have a team of almost was it 10 or 15?
Wow,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
second year.
Yeah.
So they already built a team, it was making money.
Yes, it was making money.
And
like
from that
no
experience, when you look back, was primarily second year, when everybody just think about just having fun and just going through campus, you're building your own business. When you look back in retrospect, what are some of the lessons you learned from that enterprise?
we were still having fun. Yeah.
Also, you
we were still having fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But in a different way.
Yes.
The kind of fun that we were having, we were making money out of it. Yeah. Because after we published the first copy, we actually went to all the universities. Yeah. And whenever they used to have events and all that, we plug in as the cool the cool kids. Yeah. So we had a lot of fun working on the magazine. Yeah. So and of course in campus, in as much as I was working and doing stuff, again I think my campus life was like the best. I had fun. I had fun. I never compromised on that because I knew after campus it was like
the life is supposed to start.
So I had fun. I had fun. So of course it was a thing of balancing. Yeah.
And so after the campus vibe, what other did you try other businesses while still in campus?
Yeah. So in campus, so when I was in first year, second year, I knew a lot, kind of, and people assumed that I was like a senior person, like a senior student in fourth year. Yeah. So in first year, I remember I did the first freshers event. Yeah. So I was called by the dean. I think he assumed that. Yeah. So called by the dean, and he told me that I have a budget for a freshers bash. Let me know what you want. And, yeah. So I did the first event. Yeah. Got money. Yeah. That was it. And then moving forward, I did a lot of events for campus, for in different campuses in UN. Yeah. So I also made money from there. I used to print T-shirts.
So you just look any opportunity that comes
like
about.
I was doing so much. Yeah. So and I think that's where the idea of building a venture studio came up, because I could do a lot of things at the same time. Yeah. So I needed like a structure of doing things, a lot of things at the same time. Yeah. So that was my campus life, and then after campus, I think that's when I got into the startup world. I was employed in one of the startups in Kenya, Nigeria, whereby I started off as the corporate sales manager, and then of course that stint was really, really good and eye-opening. That's where I knew that when you get into startups, you literally do everything. There is no definite job job description for you. Yeah, you do anything and everything to make something work. Yeah. So and I think that was a very good initiation for me. And then after that stint, that's when I decided, okay, I have these all these knowledge. Yeah. How can I now probably just channel that knowledge to build stuff? Yeah, because I realized that I'm very good at building and helping people build and managing people. Yeah. And
so primarily, after campus, you've done a lot of businesses, came out, you worked from a multinational in the startup world, understood it. So by the time you're making this particular jump now from the startup world to now literally build your own world, how was that transition for you?
It was hard. It was hard because I think when I left that job, I didn't plan to leave. Like, I just woke up and said.
You just woke up and quit?
Yeah.
Why?
I didn't. It's a long story. It's a long story. But yeah, I just woke up and quit. Yeah. So I didn't plan anything. I did set aside funds to start off. I just knew that I wanted to do my own stuff. Yeah. So just woke up and quit, and decided to venture into my first kind of official business. Yeah. So and I built an e-commerce grocery store. Yeah. So that was my
Which year was that?
That was it 2017, I think.
Oh yeah, it was before this particular e-commerce to whatever started becoming so big.
Yeah. Yeah. So built it very quickly in a night.
Yeah. Oh, because you can code.
Yeah, I can code. Yeah. So it was very easy. So in a night I built it, and the fact that at that startup stint, I could get merchants as quickly as possible. Like, within a week, I had around 20 merchants already. That retail, like people that I could get their products from, and then
retail.
Yeah. So so, and then back then I was kind of alone and doing that. Yeah. So started off well. Got money, and of course my lifestyle had to like go down because
you're funding it yourself,
doing
everything yourself.
So
so that was the first startup that you actually put out after campus. So I want just to now, take the trajectory, because you've been in this space whereby you've built your own businesses, you've worked in the startup, you've started building this. And I want just to address some of the challenges that most startups and entrepreneurship face. So let's just start off this conversation around the ideation phase.
Yes.
Because what makes a good idea? Because I know that's one of the biggest. Everybody wakes up, I have a good idea. I really want to go with that. So what makes a good idea? Because I think one of the things you're talking about offline is that I think most of us share something. You're always thinking about new things.
Yes.
From your perspective, what makes a good idea that one should pursue for a business?
So what I usually think about when I'm like coming up with ideas is there a problem, first of all? Is there a problem that your target market is facing? Then how can you solve that problem in a way that is easy for you and them, and then for them to pay for that? So it's all about product market fit. So normally as builders and startup founders, we usually live in our heads. And we usually come up with outrageous ideas and things that in your head you think will work, and then when you go to the market,
it doesn't work.
So you usually have to be very careful and also read how the market is. Because in most cases you find like you might have a really, really good idea right now, but it's not fit for right now. It might be fit for the next 5 years. So you need to know how to balance. So one for me is when I come up with the idea, talk to people. Like, I literally talk to a lot of people. I have so many people around me. So talk to people, gauge what they think about that idea, first of all. Is it a problem for them? Is it something that they are willing to like give you money to solve that problem for? So it's usually not even about me. It's about the market. So that's how I come up with because there's so many problems and issues to be solved around, especially in Africa. In Europe and States, they're kind of well off, but in Africa, so many problems. So you'll never be out of ideas. But again, it has to be something that makes sense, and it's something that people will actually want to pay for you to solve that problem for them.
And the thing about ideas is that one thing you've mentioned, that some ideas may be not for now, it can be for later. How does one determine that? Is it about your gut as an entrepreneur, or it is a matter of time?
So I think when it comes to ideas, when it comes to business, especially startups, for SMEs it's kind of different. For startups, it's usually a gamble. It's usually like a very big gamble. Because sometimes like for example, ChatGPT right now. Before ChatGPT, we didn't know that we needed ChatGPT. But right now, I believe most of us can't live without ChatGPT. So sometimes you find like the market doesn't really know what they want, but you can have a solution to that. But sometimes the market knows what they want. So you need to like see where you lie and like move with it. So if you lie in a space whereby you need to talk to the market, talk to the market. If you lie in a space whereby you can actually come up with something that is futuristic, and now then later on convince the market to buy into it, then
And then also another thing is that there's always this particular huge phrase: an idea is worth nothing until it's implemented. Which I don't know if you agree with that.
I totally agree.
Why do you value an idea as worthless?
So an idea that you have in your head, first of all, won't bring you money. An idea that you haven't talked to people about again, you want like get insights about that idea, because again, as startup founders, something that I've seen and I've learned with other startup founders is that people have really good ideas, but they hold those ideas, saying that, oh, if I talk about this idea, I'm the Nibia. Yeah. What I usually tell people, yes, what I usually tell people is that we are how many people in the world, like your idea is the most like the chances of your idea to be novel is almost negligible. Yeah. So whatever you've thought about right now, someone else has thought about it. I'll give a good example of Facebook. There was another Facebook before Facebook in Russia. Yeah. So nothing is novel, really novel in the world. Yeah. It's just a matter of how fast are you to put it out into the market. Yeah. And how good are you at probably talking to your customers. Yeah. So and then of course commercializing that
idea into money. Interesting. Yeah. So we're going to take a short commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to be exploring different aspects. How do you value your business? How are you able to build your business? And some of the intrigues that you need to do as an entrepreneur in order for you to build a successful startup or business. So I'll see you after the break. Welcome back to the show. Before we went on a break, James was just taking us through his interesting brief journey in the world of business and how exactly it is that he came from the startup world now to getting to venture studios and helping entrepreneurs build their own enterprise. And just before you went on a break, you're speaking about an idea means nothing, and I think you're adamant the idea that an idea is worth literally zero. Take me now through the process of now building an idea into a product or a service to go into the market. What's the process like, and what exactly should one look at towards building this particular idea?
Yeah, so one is, of course, you need to do a lot of research. When you're coming up with the idea. The research will show you where the problem is and how you can solve it, and that's one. So you do a lot of research. So if you're getting to the startup world, make sure that at least you know something about the people that you want to service. Yeah, so if it's a health tech, you know something about. If it's a agri-tech, so you need to know about, at least have like a rough idea of what you're trying to solve, and the market that you're getting into. Yeah. So for example, if I have an idea right now, of course, after research and talking to people, now I see the best solution to that problem. Yeah, and now build a product around it. Yeah. So building a product around it might be building a software, building a hardware. Yeah, so if it's a software, of course, you need to know what is the best and the easiest way of building something for you to get into the market as quickly as possible. See whether that idea works or not, and then iterate. Yeah, so it's a cycle. Yeah, idea, building, iteration, putting it out there, and then from the feedback that you get, always iterate. So you're always building. So it's like a cycle.
I don't know if you've heard about the concept of the MVP, the minimum viable product.
Yes.
And I don't know, maybe you can speak to that, especially to the audience who doesn't know about it.
Yeah, so MVP is like, as the name says, the minimum viable product that you can put out there for people to start interacting with your product and start using it. Yeah, so I've seen people raising money with a Google form. Yeah, so just putting it on a landing page, and then like getting data from that, and they can actually raise money and then build products around it. So it doesn't have to look, I don't know how. Like
maybe let's break it down to the audience. Let's say, what's it called? I've seen an idea, I want to start a designing shop.
Yeah.
What's the best minimal viable product to do? Because I know most Kenyans are into trends and designs and all that stuff. So I have this idea that I have. And I have, before I start investing any amount of money into this particular idea, as I do my research, what kind of minimal viable product can I actually put out for this?
Okay, so let's say there's this company, I can't remember its name, but it's Nigeria. So you can actually print stuff online. Yeah. So for them, what they did is they had a landing page. They had a landing page with photos of business cards, with photos of flyers, banners, and all that. So the thing is, you just go there, pick what you want, and then they reach out to you. So it was a way of them getting to the market, the easiest way of them getting to the market. And back then, it was really a big thing to like have your products online. Yeah. So that's how they started. So they actually never used to. Right now, it's AI enabled, so you can design, create, see what you want to print, and then it's printed from there, and then it's delivered to you. Yeah. Right. So for them, they just had like a landing page whereby you can go and say that I want X amount of t-shirts printed for me, and then it's printed. So for you, it's the easiest way into the market. Yeah, that's the MVP, the easiest way into the market. Yeah, and it doesn't have, like I said, it's a cycle. It doesn't have to be something really, really good. And I think that's something that, as a consult for some of the startups that I work with, they usually take so much time building.
Yeah. But you don't know if there's a market for it.
Exactly.
And the iteration.
Yeah. So you'd rather put it out there, in the most basic form, and then iterate from there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And next, the aspect of raising capital, which is also, what's it called, like a biggest issue for most entrepreneurs. How do I raise money? How do I go about this particular process? Where do I start? Take us through that particular process for any particular startup entrepreneur. So I had this idea, I've tested there's a market for it, I want to build it, I don't have enough capital. What's the best way to go about it?
So there are different ways of raising capital. Yeah. Of course, you can raise capital from investors, and from investors we have angel investors and we have venture capitalists. Yeah. And I'm talking from the startup side. Of course, for SMEs you can go to the bank, but now
you can't bank on them.
You can't. As a startup, because as a startup you don't have something that they want. Yeah, mostly.
An asset.
Yeah, you don't have an asset. Yeah. So for startups, angel investors, actual investors, and we have this thing that we usually call fools within our circle.
The triple F.
Friends, family and
fools.
Yeah. So you can get money from that money. But there's also another way of getting money, and it's called bootstrapping in a way.
Bootstrapping,
yeah. So it's either use your own money or reinvest the money that you're making into that startup. Yeah.
All right. And now, what's it called? In terms of now looking for investment, one of the core things is about going to the investors or to the family and friends, and quote unquote the fools to pitch.
Yeah.
Even in the startup world, and pitching is such an important aspect, even for doing sales.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've come up with a recipe or maybe quote unquote a position in terms of how best to literally give your pitch.
Yeah. So again, depending on who you are approaching, pitches, we have so many different types of pitches. Yeah, elevator pitches. Yeah, like so many different types of pitches, depending on who you are reaching out to. So of course, before you reach out to someone, especially if it's someone that you don't know, like talk, do your research, know what this person likes, all that, and then you can have that in your conversation when you're pitching. Yeah. So and of course you have to build a pitch deck, and there's some various things that you need to have in your pitch deck for you to have like a proper pitch. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that investors look for, depending on, again, the kind of investor that you're looking at. There's some investors who look at the team. There's some investors who look at your idea and the MVP. There's some investors who look at the market size. There's some investors who look at whether you have the technical ability to build whatever you're trying to build. Yeah. And of course, most also look at the financials. Yeah. So if you have maybe in the next 5 years, how much are you anticipating to raise or something as a business? So there are a lot of things that investors look at. Yeah. So if you have all that in your pitch deck, then I think basically you're good. You're good, but mostly you need to understand that the people that you're going to pitch to are human beings. So there has to be that human aspect into it. Yeah. So I know of founders who've raised so much money in clubs. They don't even pitch.
In clubs?
Yeah. They just
take
they're taking the investors somewhere and they like
buy drinks
and from there, they actually raise money. Yeah. And of course, there are some investors who are very serious, who want to see all those graphs and all that. And then there are some investors who just want to spend their money, like they want to put their money somewhere. So as long as you have a good head over your shoulder, they'll give you money. So you have to gauge and know what kind of investor you are looking at, and then now know how you're going to pitch to them. Yeah.
And then the aspect of the startup world, there's a different kinds of what's it called, different points of raising capital. There's the pre-seed, seed A, seed A. Try to break to us these particular different points of raising money within the startup world.
Yeah. So for pre-seed, so seed, there are various types of seeds. Yeah, so seed ni ile ni kama kupanda mbegu.
Yeah. Sia kanyari.
So it's kama kupanda mbegu. Yeah. So it's the amount of money that you need to at least start off. Yeah, it's not even about probably growth or anything. It's just to probably build your product, have a team around your product and all that. Yeah, so that's the basic amount of money, and the ticket sizes are usually very low. Yeah, because again, startup is something that you're trying out. Yeah, so something that so you're trying this out. So someone is putting in their money for you to try something. Yeah, so of course they won't give you
a lot of money.
Yeah, so of course pre-seed, seed, series, and then the pre-seed, and then the series. Yeah, so we have series A, series B, series C, and
so it's pre-seed, seeds, and then the series.
And the series, yeah. So pre-seed is right before when you just have an idea. Yeah, so they invest in the idea. Seed is you built already. There's something out there. Now you want to grow. They give you seed, and then from there, series A, series B, series C, and the rest. So for the series, it's basically usually like a cap on the amount of capital that you've received. Yeah. So for each series, depending on your structure, you might choose probably series A to get to a new market or something like that, and then series B to all that. So there are different growth levels. So that's how you like demarcate. But mostly the demarcation is usually on how much you've raised in the previous
round.
Yeah.
And then in terms of now raising capital is the aspect of valuation.
Yeah.
How do you value a business at its particular pre-seed, whereby you've not started making any money or the business hasn't grown? How do you value a business in the different stages? That this business is worth this? Because you see it, what's it called, in a pre-seed, someone's read $1 million, $500,000. How does one value it in terms of that particular perspective? And maybe from your experience, how much leverage or how much, what's it called, percentage you don't give out in terms of ownership?
Yeah. So in terms of valuation, again, valuation for startups, especially in Africa, is usually very fickle in a way. Because again, as I said, startups just have ideas that you're testing out. So valuating that is usually very hard. So there are different types of valuation methods that people use to value startups. So at an ideation stage, there's a way they value at probably when you get to series A, series B, series C, there's a way you value. And of course, when you get to series A, series B, series C, they also look at the amount of capital that you've raised. So it's one of the determinants. Yeah, they look at your market size. That's another determinant. They look at your team, and you find like sometimes some startups are overvalued. Yeah. So it's usually there's a scientific method, but it's usually more human. Yeah. For startups, the best startups that I've seen raise so much money, they just create like a FOMO-ish thing, the thing whereby you want a piece of that startup, and then that raises the value. Yeah. So different types of valuation methods depending on what stage you are in. Yeah. And of course, the next question. There's a question you asked.
In terms of the percentages you're supposed to.
In terms of percentages, of course, the percentages vary. Again, when you're starting off, depending on your business and how much money you want to raise and all that, you can seed up to maybe 50%. Sometimes people seed up even 70%, depending on who you are and how you want to structure your company. But most venture VCs do maybe up to 15 at seed stage, 15%. No, at series stage, 15%. But at seed stage, they normally want like a bigger chunk of it, because they feel like
They're
they're
taking a
giving
bigger
you
risk.
like a lifeline and they're taking a bigger risk.
Mhm.
So again, it depends on the VC
Mhm.
and how they, or even if it's an accelerator,
Mhm.
how their structure internally is. Yeah, and even for the founders.
Mhm.
So for the founder, you might, because most founders don't even know that things to do with shares. You find like most founders are technical. They don't know the legal side of business. So you find someone coming up with the idea today, building something around it, and then giving out 50 to 51%, and then the next moment you hear that they've been booted out of their company.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
And early on, you touched around it across your story when you're running Campus Vibe. Just I want to touch about the legal aspect.
Yeah.
Whereby you've built a business.
Yeah.
What's it called? Nation, primarily a media house, big enough at that particular point, wants to try and buy you. They couldn't buy you, and then someone else goes and replicate what you've done.
Yeah.
And you end up being given a legal notice for something you've done.
Yeah.
So for entrepreneurs watching it, what are some of the legal aspects that an entrepreneur needs to literally watch out for and execute as they build their business in order for maybe not fall to a situation where you are before?
Yeah, so as you're building, I know most entrepreneurs start off from a point whereby probably you don't have money or you have just enough money to build. Yeah. But if you can get legal advice, I think that's usually the best thing to do first. Yeah. But
legal advice from a lawyer or ChatGPT?
No, from a lawyer. From a lawyer. From a lawyer. Even ChatGPT, of course.
Yeah, but you actually give a lot of these things.
But you need to know what to look for.
Yes.
That's the problem with ChatGPT.
So like
from a lawyer, at least they can give you like a whole, and it has to be like a legal tech person.
So tell me, maybe in terms of from your experience, what are some of the things? Maybe is it you need to get a copyright? Do you need to get a brand, whatever, trademark? What are some of the specifics, maybe from your experience, from maybe someone who's very new to this, that should maybe these are things you need to tick the box?
Yeah. So one, you need to incorporate your company.
So you need to register the company. As a
limited. Mostly for startups, limited is the best, especially when it comes to funding and raising funds. Limited is the best. So and when registering it, you need to know the shareholding. Yeah, if you have founders, how much person has in terms of, and of course at the end of it all, you need to know how much shares you're allocating to investors who might come in. Yeah, so there's that legal aspect. Yeah, and then of course, if you're building something that maybe might be novel, you need to know how to protect it, because whatever you have in your head is intellectual property. If you have it on paper and you have it in it, so you need to know how to protect it. So how do you protect it at whatever stage? Yeah, is it a copyright? Is it a trademark? Is it a patent? Is it all that? So if you have an IP expert to probably take you through that, then that might be good. Yeah. If not, just walk into some of these offices. They'll give you information for free. Go to the copyrights board, they'll give you information for free. Go to Kekobo, Kipi, they'll give you information for free. And then make sure that at least there's some semblance of protecting your idea. Yeah, and of course, when you're even talking to investors and other people, document so that you have like a trail. Because emails.
Yeah, emails is such an important thing.
Yeah, because we've had cases whereby someone maybe from university came up with a very bright idea, and then they went for a hackathon, and then
they were hacked.
The idea was stolen. Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about it as long as you don't have
and a hacky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as long as you have a trail of the fact that you're the one who came up with that idea, then it's easy for you to even lodge a complaint at some of these institutions that this was my idea and all that. Yeah. So protecting your idea is very, very important. Yeah, right from the beginning. And it's apart from patent, it's not that expensive. Yeah, especially when it comes to copyrights. I think copyright right now is free. Yeah, and all they're not expensive. And I think people usually have it in their head that
it's very expensive.
Or complicated. Yeah,
it's very straightforward.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. Yeah, you just need to know that I need to protect my idea, then you protect it. Yeah.
Interesting. And then another thing is about, so you've talked about an idea, valuing this idea, what's it called, raising capital for this, protecting yourself legally. One of the also biggest aspects in terms of scaling now this idea or this particular business to the next phase of the business. From your experience, what exactly does it take to scale a business?
Great. Yeah, because building a startup is not for the faint. Like you have to I think it's for the few. Like
business gives you character development.
It's the hardest thing you can ever do, and it's something that I usually tell people. If you don't have the grit, just stay in employment, because it's really hard. It will show you, it will mess you up psychologically, first of all.
You're a psychologist.
It does mess me up. Like there's some ventures
I think it's even making you bald.
There's some ventures that I've had that have failed miserably, and of course that process of building is very hard. First of all, process of selling it out is very, very hard, and then now the growth phase, because you'll have things happening, things like you'll have curveballs, like things will be happening randomly within your business. That sometimes if you don't have, if you are not quick at innovation, quick at doing things, then they'll literally kill your business. And sometimes you start off from a point of, again, you don't have money, but someone somewhere has a lot of money sitting down. They'll just see your idea, copy it, and then run with it. Like, you need to see all those factors. So when it comes to the growth stage, of course, depending on where you are and what you want to achieve. If, for example, you want to say within this year I want to like capture 1,000 clients or customers or like that. So you need to have like a strategy of how to do that. But of course, sometimes these strategies don't work. So you need
change.
Things change every day.
So literally.
So you need to be always on top of your game and know when something's not working. You iterate as quickly as possible, and then move to something else. Try something else as quickly as possible, and then but mostly what I've seen work is, especially for startups, most startups that scale very fast have a very lean team. So that you won't have those bureaucracies, you won't have people curtailing growth and innovation. So having a lean team that makes sense for you, and then just pushing on and always being on the lookout on new things to probably input into your product, so that you capture a bigger size of a market.
Interesting. I think this has been a very interesting masterclass. Thanks so much, James, for having come to the show. So you can check out Startup Grind, as you mentioned, standupgrind.com/Nairobi. Also, Anza Village, you can actually check them out on social media. Thanks so much for having watched the show. Hope you've learned a thing or two from this particular conversation. As always, my name is Ian Dennis. You can follow me across all social media platforms, Ian Dennis Network, and also at KTN Home _. Until next time, I'll see you right here on the Late Night Business.